Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. So today's session will be focusing on how you can manage your large volume of subsurface geotechnical data using our gINT software. I'm Casey, your host today's session. I'm also a product consultant for Bentley's Silver Product. So with me today is Ranit, our product expert for Bentley's geotechnical products. He has a wealth of experience with our geotechnical software, especially with him conducting numerous training and also delivering professional services to our users in this region. So before we start, I would like to introduce more on our new licensing model called Virtuoso. Bentley, in a continuous effort to support the geotechnical community, has developed a special commercial offering comprising of affordable and flexible software subscription bundled with customized project-specific training. Virtuosity is Bentley's e-commerce platform that provides an easy way of purchasing practitioner licenses of Bentley software, accompanied by keys. So these keys are actually like tokens, which is redeemable for hours of expert service or customized training provided in the form of mentoring or throughout the course of your yearly subscription. All our latest version of our software are available at virtuosity.com. So for every license purchase, a product expert is assigned to your team within a day or so. The product expert works closely with you to understand your team's skill level and project needs to customize the training. These experts come with rich experience working on similar projects. You have the complete flexibility to either renew or add more licenses in the next 12 months or even add more keys as your need arises. So Virtuosity works like any other e-commerce platform. You can just add the products which you want to buy into your cart and make the payment right away. So within 24 hours, your license will be delivered to your email, and you'll be assigned a product expert who will work with you on the initial software setup and training. Within a week, you can be equipped with the fundamental skill, and the design work uh, you are undertaking can be up and running. This is an initiative to provide a quick and easy process for our users to have access to the right solution, knowledge base, and training. With this way, you can be equipped with the right solution, and you can just focus on delivering your high quality deliverables to your client. So yeah, without further ado, let me hand over the session to right now for his presentation and a bit of demo.
All right. Thank you, Casey, for the presentation, and I would like to welcome everyone on today's webinar for gINT Subsurface Data Management and Reporting. So let's proceed with the webinar. Today's agenda would basically be we're going to have a look at the overview of gINT and basically what gINT does, what are the capabilities that we have, what is gINT, and gINT fundamentals, some fundamental topics on gINT, fundamental structure that actually gINT follows, and AGS templates, which is another common topic that most of our users come asking to us, and also the interoperability between gINT and other civil softwares or Plaxis. So moving on, what is gINT? Now, gINT is basically if you want to increase productivity with centralized data management and reporting for your geotechnical subsurface projects, then we would recommend using gINT because it streamlines the processes with accessible interoperable data for your subsurface reporting, whether it be soils or bore logs or lab tests or well logs, etc. And we have currently gINT Professional, Professional Plus, and gINT Logs, three offerings for this product. That is three variations, which I would talk about a little later. Now, again, coming back to what is gINT. Now, gINT is a straight up database management system and reporting engine for your subsurface projects. And what is gINT used for? It is used for data storage, data validation, data queries, data reporting, and data sharing with other programs. It can be other applications outside of Bentley or even within Bentley. Now, what type of data can we input and store inside of gINT? Now, you can use soil samples, rock cores, or your soil or rock lithology layers, and your lab data, your well information, your groundwater levels, instrumental data, in situ test, everything you can store inside of a gINT project. You can basically input all of them or import all that data, and there are grid and graphical two input methods present in gINT. So all of these types of data, which more or less covers all of the geotechnical segment, can be simply imported or manually do the data entry inside of gINT and store it for a certain project. Now you can do the same for in numerous projects that you're working on currently. Now, what type of subsurface data reports does gINT provide? So, gINT basically provides borehole logs and well logs, which we all know about. So, again, it depends on your data template and library files, how you customize it, the structure of your report, what kind of data do you need for the reports. We have some predefined structures, predefined report forms available inside of gINT. Now you can straight up work with them, or you can even customize them at your own benefit. I mean, you can do it as conveniently as you want for your organization, because gINT is very much customizable in terms of report forms, and you can add your own company logo, company information, etc. All of those things are very easy to do, and you just create a simple report form and store it, and then all of your borehole logs for the company, for your company, it would you don't need to create the report forms again and again. You just need to customize it once and it will be saved. And also fences, cross sections, and profiles, this type of reports can also be created using gINT. And lab reports or tables, graphs, summaries, those are obviously also present in gINT. Now these are some example reports that I've shown you that can be made out of gINT, and some of the example files are already present. If you start downloading and installing gINT and then play along with it, just use some already given projects and see the report forms, and you would understand, you would get a clear picture of that. Now let's talk about which product is right for you. Now there are three variations of gINT that we are currently offering: gINT Logs, gINT Professional, and gINT Professional Plus. Now gINT Logs is basically a very entry level variation of gINT, and it generates only borehole logs or well logs. Now gINT Professional has full reporting capabilities. All right, and it is Microsoft Access database based, and within gINT Professional you will also get the AGS template option, which is not present in gINT Logs, and also Civil Tools and ArcGIS add-ins are present, and enhanced import export functions are also present in gINT Professional. At the same time, gINT Professional Plus is mostly for huge MNCs, and for most of the mid-level companies, gINT Professional is mostly suited, and for huge organizations, gINT Professional Plus is suggested for the MS SQL servers, because it is apart from, like in gINT Professional we have Microsoft Access database engine, but in terms of gINT Professional Plus we have SQL server based engine. So the data for all your projects is stored in a single database, but in case of gINT Professional, all the projects are stored in multiple databases. So gINT Professional Plus is mostly for big MNCs. Now multi-project reporting and data sharing, and also improved access to historical data is present in gINT Professional Plus, and also coordinate conversion tools. And other than that, all the benefits that you'd get in gINT Logs and Professional, everything is present in my gINT Professional Plus. Now, let's talk a little about the data sharing and interoperability. Now, gINT has a huge data sharing and interoperability option within Bentley softwares. Like, for suppose if you're working on Geotechnical, Plaxis, Soil Vision, or if you're working on civil tools and collect gINT collector itself, you can also do that. And even OpenRoads Designer, OpenRail Designer, or ProjectWise, all of these Bentley applications are interoperable with gINT. Means you can transfer your files from gINT to OpenRoads or Plaxis, and then perform your analysis or whatever design model that you want to create. And also gINT is again interoperable with softwares or applications outside of Bentley. You have Autodesk, Google Earth, Rockware, Earthsoft, ASRI, Power BI, etc. Some of the examples of interoperability of gINT outside of Bentley.
In here, we're going to start with our main three controlling files that basically control gINT and all of its operations. Okay, so to begin with gINT, we have to talk about the project database files, that is the .gpj extension, and a data template files that comes with .gdt extension, and the library files that come with .glb extension. So these are basically the three files that control gINT. Okay, so whatever data structure changes that you need to make, you have to do it within them. Whatever report output changes that you want to make, you have to do within any one of these three files. So we will have look at all of these three files individually, what controls what, and then we'll proceed with the demo. Okay, so first of all, we'll go through the project database file. So a project database file comes with an extension of .gpj. So basically, project database file is anything that any data that you provide in the input tab. Okay, so it's basically the whole project of information management. So whatever data, whatever it can be a single site or multiple site, multiple boreholes, whatever data you have for lab testing or borehole data, you put everything in the input section. That is all stored in the project database. Okay, so one project, basically one gpj file has one project data. Okay, so moving on, the next file that we're going to talk about is the data template file. So data template file comes with an extension of .gdt. Okay, so data template is basically the structure of the project database file. If so, what is a project database file? It has all the data that you put in the input section, and data template is the same file without any data. That means it is the skeletal structure of the project database. So a data template file is basically like a skeletal structure. You define the structure your project is going to follow inside of that data template. So you can use one data template for multiple gpj files. That means for multiple project database files, you can use the same data template. If you customize the data template according to your organization needs, you can use that gdt file in all of your gpj files respectively. Okay, so whatever we will provide in the input tab inside of the gpj file, it will take the structure that is present in the data template file. That is the correlation between data template files and the project database. Okay, now the library files. The library files are basically files that contain several user specific libraries and data tables. So all the report forms like geotechnical borehole or environmental borehole or general well monitoring forms, all the report forms that generate the output are stored in the library file, that is inside of the glb file. And all sorts of material symbols and graphics that we represent in our output file, in form of PDF, or it could be in form of any exporting function that you want to use. Whatever is exported, whatever graphics is there, that is all stored inside of the GLB file. And also the lookup lists and user functions, report blocks, these are all stored inside of the GLB file. So basically the data template, that is GDT file, provides the structure to the project, that is GPJ file, and library provides the symbols, the graphics, and the report forms and functions inside of the project. So data template and library, both of them are contributing in the project file, that is in the GPJ file, and then we are completing the project and generating the output. Okay. Okay, as soon as you open gINT for the first time, you will see this kind of blank page that is there. So there is nothing much data in here, but at the top of the gINT application, you can see the last used project and the last used GLB file address would be highlighted. All right. So to begin with, after you launch gINT, you have to go to files and go to change library. Okay. So first thing that we need to do is assign a library in the gINT project. So we will first of all choose a library file. So I am choosing gINT workspace library.glb. It has an extension of glb. Okay, the library files. Now I'll click open. So my library file has already been taken. So as the address is quite long, that's why it is not highlighting completely. So and after that you have to go to files and go to new project, that is clone data template. All right. So either if you want to go for new project, you can choose this option. So I'll begin with an existing project. I'll show you an existing project. Then I'll show you how to create a new project as well. So I'll go to open project and I'm going to open a GPJ file that is created by using the GLB file and respective GDT file. Okay. So I'm just opening the project right now just to show you the UI of gINT at the beginning. So we will slowly proceed to a bit complex things, but let's start with the basics first. So as soon as you open your gINT application, a project inside of the gINT application, I have already opened an existing project, so there is some data available in it. So you can see there are some main tabs that are available, that is input, output, data design, report design, symbol design, drawings, and utilities. And under those main tab groups, you can see secondary tabs, and which also have subgroups under them. So under the main group, you can find project, borehole. Project data is basically your client name and project ID, etc., location and all everything. And then you have your borehole data. So this is basically in a grid format. So unless and until you provide at least one borehole and one depth, you cannot move on to lithology, soil components, rock components, etc. You have to, after you provide the project data, you have to go to borehole and provide at least one borehole name and one depth. Then you can move on to the other subgroups as well. So this is where you provide your borehole names, depths, and date, contractor, method, logs, and so on. And all right. So in your lithology subgroup, you have to define, this is where you can actually define the graphics of your soil profile. Okay. So you provide some certain depths and the graphic, there are some inbuilt graph material graphics available. Like in here, you can see you have bedrock, USCS, low plasticity clay. All right. So there are lots of inbuilt material graphics already available, so you just have to provide the correct soil profile and the graphics will be automatically taken into the report forms. And if your material has USCS classification, you can just click on the drop down and provide USCS classification. And similarly, if you have any non-component description, you can provide in here. And the line types are basically separate one soil layer to another. So this is the lithology, and then similarly we have the soil components subgroup. So I'm not going to go through all of the columns one by one because that would take a very long time. So I would just recommend you guys to go through all the columns that are available, and make sure to use whatever column you need, and if you don't need anything, just keep it blank. And similarly, go through the rock components. Then we have our material samples where we have recovery length, RQD length, and SPT test, blow count, and pocket penetrometer test. And if you have any other test results, you can provide it in here as well, and provide your sample types as well. And we have our water level reading events, and environmental if you need, and well data if you need. And if you need to add some remarks, you can do that in here as well. So this is basically an overview of the main group that is available. And I'll show you quickly the lab testing parts that are available. So this is where you provide the lab specimen, and then we have our water content density. We have our Atterberg limits, and then we have our sieve analysis, and we also have hydrometer test results, and also have specific gravity test results, and compaction test, also UCC test, and consolidation, and direct shear test, and fall head permeability. So these are the standard supplied lab testing input sections that are available. And if you have CPT data, you can provide CPT data and sitemap as well. So now this is just an overview of what is available. I've just quickly shown you. So I would recommend you, once you guys open gINT, then you just go through the all the subgroups one by one, and see what is available in there. Just have a look, and I don't know if you have already done that, but uh, I'll let's proceed to the next part first of all. So I'll just show you first some of the output results, and then we'll move on. So let me quickly select a couple of boreholes, and I'll show you, let's say, geotechnical borehole plots. Okay, so this is the report form that is supplied from our side. So a general report form, this is the way it would appear. Okay, so you have your company logo, and company address, and information, email, etc., and borehole numbers, page numbers, and then all the project information at the header. So like project name and groundwater levels, elevation, etc. And then you have your uh, depth and graphic log, material description, sample type and number, if you have RQD recovery percentage, and blow counts as well, and pocket penetrometer if you need, and dry unit weight if you need, and the SPT value as well, with the Atterberg limits. Okay, so this is kind of a standard report form. Now there are other report forms available as well. This one was geotechnical borehole plots. Now, if I show you geotechnical borehole columns, you'll get another form of report. So again, this is another report form that is supplied, just a little bit different from the other one, with the Atterberg limits, and dry unit weight and fines content representing in a different way. And so basically this is called the object selector. Okay, so as soon as you click on the object selector, you will get all the report forms that are currently available to you. So these are some of the supplied report forms, and you can create your own report form as well, or you can customize these report forms as well. So that is completely up to you. And so I would just suggest you to go through all the report forms and see if these would work for you or not. uh, just do some minor changes and I think it should be fine, because most of the things are available based on the US standards.
Okay, so let's start talking about our next topic, that is gINT AGS templates. Now, we get a lot of users asking about what is AGS template and how to incorporate them inside of gINT. I mean, how to import or export AGS templates. So, basically, AGS template, let's talk about a little about the AGS template. The Association of Geotechnical and Geoenvironmental Specialists data interchange format is commonly known as AGS specification. It is basically a set of rules for the electronic transfer of subsurface investigation data. Now, it was developed in the United Kingdom in 1991 and has been adopted in a number of countries. So, most of your clients might be asking the files in AGS format. Now, more information about the AGS formats can be found in the AGS website. So, you can go there and find out more about the AGS formatting, but more or less everyone knows about it. gINT fully supports version 404, 4, 3 and 3.1 of this specification. Now, some AGS templates of all these four versions, the data templates and the library files are by default provided, and also some example project files are also provided alongside gINT. Now, we would have a look at the demonstration of how to import and export AGS templates.
This is a standard GINT interface, right? Just take a look at this. Now I am going to open the another project in AGS. All right. So in the standard one, what do we have? Input, output, data design, report design, etc. Main group, lab testing, CPD, sitemap, and then borehole, lithology, soil component, rock components, our sample, water level, environmental, etc. Now I am going to open a project in AGS. So for that, what I have to do is I'll have to go to file and change library. I will open a supplied library. So AGS, first of all, has three templates released up to now. That is 3.1, 4.0, and 404. I will go with AGS 4.0. So I'm taking this library and I'm going to open a project that has been uh, created using AGS 4.0. Okay, let's this you guys also have this project. These are supplied from our side. So now you can see the secondary tabs have been completely changed, and also the subgroups have changed as well. So under the main group, now we have project information and your location, that is your borehole locations, and then you have hole orientation and alignments, file transmission, and if you have any site data, your site map. And this is where the surface information comes in. Let me show you the export part, because this is an existing project. Then I'll show you the import part and how to create new AGS project. Okay, so I'll go to file. You go to AGS file and you'll go to export to AGS file. It will ask you to select the AGS file. You just simply browse and select your AGS file. All right, suppose I have this AGS file. I am selecting it and save. So I have selected an AGS file, and in the correspondence file section you will browse and select the correct AGS format. All right, so there are multiple formats that are being used now. .gcx is the format for exporting an AGS file. When you will try to import, you will have to select a .gci file for import. So let me select whatever the correct version is, AGS4, and I'll click open. All right, so this is my correspondence file. So AGS file cannot be imported or exported without correspondence file. This is a mandate, okay? And you have to select the correct correspondence file, whichever is followed to create the AGS file. whichever standard is being followed to create this AGS file. So I have selected and I've just clicked OK. Yeah, the file already exists, but I'm overwriting it. So it takes a bit of time based upon the data it has, and then it will show you how many records have been created. And if you click OK, which would look like this one. Where is these files 1234 AGS or whatever. I can open them with Notepad just to verify that what data do I have. It will provide me all the data. Okay, so whatever I have written inside of gINT, all the data is available in here. So I mean, you can check the data from here as well.
All right, so next up, let's talk about the interoperability functions that gINT has. Now, you can view, report, or query gINT data from ArcGIS. gINT also has a ArcGIS toolbar. You can use ESRI or any other third-party applications, and there are multiple WebGIS case studies available with us. There are users that are using the GIS interoperability with gINT efficiently, so you can opt for that. And there are many other interoperabilities present with gINT, which I would talk about in a moment. Now, with gINT you can also export contour data. All right, so you can export the contour data of your project, or even import the surfaces to gINT, that is your land XML TIN files. It can be imported in gINT civil tools, or even you can import surface grid files and also superimpose your surfaces into fence reports. And fence traps is another functionality that is available in gINT, where you can use interpreted layered geometry. You can use your geophysical test results and also show existing features along any alignment. All right, so now moving on to gINT Civil Tools. Civil Tools is a standalone application that provides 2D, 3D visualization of gINT data in a microstation CAD environment, or you can say in a BIM environment as well. So it is a standalone application, thus existing gINT installation would work with it, and existing gINT projects would also work with it. It is available for download separately, and it is also delivered with OpenRoads and other civil design packages as well, and it is also available standalone. So why would you use gINT Civil Tools? Now, gINT Civil Tools basically gives you a 2D and 3D visualization of the gINT data that we are putting inside of gINT. So you can actually create your cross sections and visualize them inside a 2D or 3D CAD or BIM environment, or even you can link to your borehole logs, your lithology layers. You can get all that data inside of gINT Civil Tools and provide information in your model, which is an exact BIM workflow. All right, so you're creating a 3D visualization or a 2D visualization and adding smart information, just bringing that information from gINT to your Civil Tools platform. Or even you can do that with OpenRoads or other civil software packages, where gINT Civil Tools is also provided as an add-on. So you can actually, if you're working on OpenRoads, you can just get the gINT data, import the gINT project, and you can get that information of the boreholes, the lithology layers, and you can link those logs in your 3D platform. Now you can also create 3D models of existing ground. You can create water level surfaces, and also 3D meshing and fence diagrams. You just get that information from gINT, and then you can visualize it in 2D or 3D inside of Civil Tools or other civil products, where Civil Tools is provided as an add-on. Now, Civil Tools capabilities are basically to export surfaces to land XML. These are other capabilities that we are talking about. Now, MS Excel data sources can be used through gINT Civil Tools as well, and we can also color code elements based on value, and also special query to locate historical data that is only for professional plus users and not available in professional. So you can also create CPT representations as well. Okay, this is one of the classic examples of gINT civil tools. I have brought in my project boreholes from one of the existing gINT projects, and I have imported them inside of gINT civil tools, and I've also incorporated a Google Earth image of the exact project borehole coordinates, and I can visualize the borehole information in a 3D format. So this is more like a BIM workflow with smart information, and you can do that in 2D and 3D as well. You can generate 3D boreholes by getting the information gINT, the boreholes from gINT, and you can also create subsurface terrains as well, and you can create cross sections in civil tools as well. So just a second. And also one of the main key features is you can create your fences as well, and if you just click on the boreholes you will get the borehole information, the report form as well. So this is just a small example of gINT civil tools. I'll show you another example of open bridge project. So if you can also incorporate your bridge project inside of gINT civil tools, and you can get the borehole information from gINT and visualize them on a 3D uh, on a 3D platform like a BIM workflow. You can select your boreholes, and if you go to info you will get all the layered information of the boreholes in your platform. So this is a very unique interoperability feature that we have with civil applications and gINT. And interfacing with OpenRoads Designer, I mean, you can actually bring in your OpenRoads project inside of gINT civil tools, or you have a gINT civil tools add-on inside of OpenRoads as well. So with OpenRoads you can actually create 3D boreholes from getting the data from gINT, and also create your subsurface data and review stratum properties from the info section, and you will get all the borehole information in there, and you can generate the surfaces for your gut fill calculation, earthwork calculations, or for specifically targeted modeling after creating the terrains from the 3D boreholes that we are getting from gINT. Now let's take a look at one example. Inside of OpenRoads we have multiple references. I mean, this is kind of a BIM workflow. If people are aware of this, I think you guys would understand this. So after you reference the terrain file, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our gINT projects, and we're going to connect the database. Now for the database we have multiple options: database type and the file. So I'll go to the specific gINT project that we want to connect, and I'll select that gINT project and wait for the connection, and I'll also select the library file for that specific project as well. And now after that is done, I'll go to lithology, and I can check all my lithology information is there. So let's do query, and retrieve all the project boreholes that I've imported. So my 3D boreholes have been generated that I had from gINT. I had my specific coordinates, I had my borehole data on gINT, and I've simply imported that data inside of OpenRoads using gINT civil tools. I can do the same thing. I can just import the OpenRoads project and do the same thing in gINT civil tools as well. Now let's take a look at the information section. Now if I select a borehole, and if I go to the properties, I'll go to lithology, and I can see my lithology information is there. And this is a smart BIM workflow that we are following in OpenRoads or gINT civil tools basically. So let's do the referencing, and just a second. Let me do one thing. I'll just turn off all the references. All right, I'll just keep only the boreholes in here. And so you can see all the 3D boreholes that we have got from gINT. And let's do create terrain. And now I'm going to create a terrain. Let's take lithology and USCS. Let's take silt, and let's go use all boreholes, and the terrain would be created. All right. So this is you can just simply import your borehole data in 3D format and create a terrain out of it inside of OpenRoads or in gINT Civil Tools. And this is kind of the interoperability that we have with OpenRoads or OpenBridge or all other Bentley civil platforms, and integrate them inside of gINT. Now let's talk about the interoperability of gINT and Plaxis. Okay, so if I go to again project and go to export to Plaxis 3D layer file, it would create a layer file for me and in for Plaxis 3D or with all the data that we had in gINT. Now I'll go to Plaxis and import that p3d log file, and it would simply import all the information that I had inside of gINT in Plaxis 3D.
That being said, our webinar for today ends in here. So if you guys have any questions, just write in the chat box, let us know. Feel free to ask any questions. Hopefully everyone liked the webinar.
Okay, thank you so much for the presentation, Ranit. And yeah, I hope the audience can learn a lot today from gINT and how it can help with their daily geotechnical works. So we'll move on to the question, and we'll try to answer them the best as we can. So I'll start off with can we import AGS data into gINT? Run it.
Yeah, hi Casey. So AGS data importing is the same as we demonstrated the AGS export. So, but the main thing is we have to select the proper AGS project. I mean, if you have a AGS 4.0 file from the client and you would like to import that, you are trying to import, but somehow the data is not coming properly because you are following the wrong method. So the correct method would be you have to select AGS 4.0 data template, AGS 4.0 library file, and create a blank project. At first, this is the process. And after that blank project is created, now import that AGS file that has been created using AGS 4.0 inside of that project. So only then you will get the proper data. So but even then in most of the cases we see that users are not getting exact amount, I mean the correct data, because somehow in most of the big companies the correspondence file is customized or the EGS data template itself has been customized. So you have to reach out to the clients that whatever data template or library file or correspondence file you have used to create the AGS file, also get that along with the AGS file, so that if you do not get the data enough, you can reach out to Bentley and we can help you guys.
Okay,
I
thanks for
hope
that.
that answers the question. Yeah.
All right, thanks for our explanation. I think we move on to the next question. This person is asking, how do I import my Excel lab data into gINT?
How do you import your Excel lab data? So basically Excel import is present inside of gINT. So if you want to import your Excel file, if you want to import your suppose lab data that you have written inside of an Excel file and you want to import it inside of a gINT, you have to make sure that the Excel file has the exact structure that gINT follows. So to do that, we would recommend you get a structure only export from gINT. When you are working, when you have gINT opened, uh, do not put in any data, keep it blank, and do, or even if you have a data, if you have any project opened, you can do Excel export and do a structure only export. Just tick on the structure only. So what it will do is it will only export the structure of the gINT in Excel format. So that Excel file would properly follow the structure of gINT. So if you have your lab data, you can get that lab data in that correct format of that Excel file, the structure only export that we have done, and then import that Excel file inside of gINT. So all the data would be auto populated as that Excel file is following the exact structure inside of gINT. So that is the method of importing your lab data in Excel format inside of gINT.
Okay, thanks for the explanation again. The next question, I guess you answered it in the chat already, but I think for the benefit for everyone, let's re
Yeah,
let's bring up the question again.
there is another question. I mean, I haven't answered this on chat. Has the local soil lithology of Singapore been incorporated in gINT? So basically, we do not have any Singapore data set as of now, and I mean there are many more: Australia, UK, US, India, Spain. A lot of data sets are available, but more or less people follow US or UK data sets. I mean, the soil lithology is not that important when the gINT data templates are concerned about, because gINT data templates do have the exact kind of format that is used in that specific country. And I think the UK and US and Australian and these report forms are mostly accepted in most of the countries. So you can just try out any of those report forms because there are many available right now. If you just install gINT, you will get the options of selecting the data template that you wish to install. I mean, the options would appear during the installation process. So you have to select the data templates that you wish to install, or you can do it later on as well.
Okay. Thanks for the explanation again, Ranit. Yeah, I think let's bring up the question you have answered in the chat, because this is a recorded session. So in a recorded session, we won't be able
Yeah,
to
sure,
see the
sure, sure,
chat. Okay.
sure.
So yeah, this person is asking, how can you bring in geophysical data into gINT?
Yeah, geophysical data can be brought in gINT. Suppose if you have a .las file, so in case of that, you have to do Excel import, like as we were talking. So Excel import is there, and another option is gINT rules. So for gINT rules, you have to write a VBA that would directly import your LAS file inside of gINT. So that is a bit complicating process if you do not know VBA. And the other option is importing Excel file. So importing the Excel file, again, for that you have to make sure that you have your data set ready for geophysical data. So we already have a set of data templates that are pre-customized. All right, now if you're importing geophysical data, you need to have a data template that matches it, that can hold that data. So hopefully your client would already provide you that data template, or you would already make it customize it from other third party provider. And once you have that data template, you get a structure only export. And again, when you do a structure only export, you get an Excel file that follows the exact structure of your gINT data template, and you simply just copy and paste from your LAS file to that Excel file, and then import it uh, inside of gINT. So that is one of the methods. And then directly importing LAS file, for that VBA needs to be incorporated. So that is a bit complicated process.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Let's move on to the next question. Um, this person curious to know if gINT will give information regarding the foundation recommendation and other calculation part. I think he's
Which one? Which one? Can you repeat the question again?
yeah, I guess it's at the bottom of the chat. Yeah, this guy is asking if Gin will give information regarding the foundation recommendation and other calculation part.
Other calculation part. I mean,
Yeah,
about what?
I
I
think
mean, I think this question is a bit confusing because
yeah,
GINT is not a analytical
yeah,
software, so I'm not sure what kind of calculations are you talking about.
yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
because
So
I think you might have confused with Plexus, but in anyways, in GINT you do not have that kind of analysis or calculations to perform. Okay.
okay, all right. Yeah, I guess that's all for the question. So yeah, if you have any other, I mean, to the audience, if you have any other questions regarding the commercial or the technical part,
Okay,
please.
so
Yeah.
just one thing, Casey. I
Okay.
think Gayatri, you have asked this question, right, regarding foundation recommendations and other calculation parts. So regarding foundation recommendations and other calculation parts, for this, Plexus needs to be followed. You have to get Plexus for this. Only then you can do analysis on your foundations, and also stat foundation is another option. It depends on what type of project you're doing, if you're dealing with structural projects or not. I mean, these are the two applications that mostly deal with your foundation analysis and calculations and recommendations for that. And gINT is solely for database management for your projects, managing the data for your project, and also interoperability. All right, to get it to connect Google Earth with it, and also take your GINT data inside of Plexus and generate the model automatically, get your borehole data automatically, and also get the data into Civil Tools or OpenBridge, and get the borehole data, visualize them in 3D format, and create a smart BIM information model. So these are the main things that we can do in GINT. And borehole logs, those are common. Everyone uses borehole logs, fences. That is obviously can be done. Okay, okay, Kasim, go on.
Yeah, I think there's a few more questions that just pop up. So there is a question on how many AGS file can Gin compile?
Can GINT compile?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So currently there are four AGS formats, but it doesn't matter how many AGS files you are bringing in. But in one project, you will import one AGS file, right? And if you feel like you have another AGS file that you would like to merge with the current project, you can also do that. But I don't know if that is actually viable or feasible in real life projects. Like, you generally have one AGS file for a certain project, and you're doing importing that inside of the project and working on it, right? So there's no limit to how much GINT can compile AGS files. Hopefully that answers your question.
Okay. Then the next question from the same person. We have many
Mhm.
Gin files to generate charts or do GIR. Any shortcut to do it?
uh, can you repeat that, Casey?
He's saying that they have many Gin files to generate
Okay,
charts.
we have many GINT files to generate charts, and any shortcut to do it. Well, you can write macros inside of GINT. So there is no shortcut key as such like that. So what you can do is you can write macros inside of GINT. So if you write a macro, and then you can create your own shortcut to generate that. So that option is present in GINT. It allows you to write macros
Okay.
and write calls. And there's another question, I guess.
Yeah, from same person.
Oh, okay. Okay. Write calls in GINT rules. Yeah, you can do that as well. And what else is there any other question? How we can quickly check the errors for how and we quickly check the errors for many AGS files. Well, you can create you can import many AGS files, but if you want to check the errors of AGS files, you can create your VBA gINT rules for that as well. Now, if you want to, if you're accustomed to VBA, you can create gINT rules, and then you can do it on your own. Otherwise, I mean, you can also open in Notepad++ and check your AGS files errors. If you're aware of AGS files, if you have opened AGS files in Notepad++ and know the structure, you can check the errors within in there itself as well. So some people also check errors in AGS files by opening them in Notepad++, and they can manually find that as well. But if you are aware of writing VBA, then you can do that. You can write scripts.
Okay. The same person is asking again. How about the CPT files? There are many to tabulate. So is there any shortcut to do it?
Well, again, if you want to tabulate the CPD files and you can create your shortcuts. All right. So there is no as such shortcut inside of gINT. And if you want to create your shortcuts, you can write the macros, and you can create a shortcut for itself as well. So if I would recommend you just check how to write macros inside of gINT. Once you know that, you can write macros and you can create shortcuts on your own.
Okay. Next question. Can gINT estimate the excavation volume from the plotted boreholes?
Yes, it can be done, but again, the current data templates that are provided do not estimate that. So you have to just customize your data template according to that. Once you customize your data template, you'll be able to do that.
I guess this person is asking again for the free coding to do the checks that he asked earlier.
Yeah, well, if you go to communities, you will see multiple the Bentley communities. There are multiple options, multiple gINT rules codes available for free. You can check them out and try it from your end. And we'll do another webinar later on, specifically on gINT rules and VBA. And I guess we'll try to just answer this section on there,
Mhm.
the coding part.
Right. Or alternatively, if you can buy the gINT on Virtuoso, then we'll do the service for you as well. I mean, like we'll guide you how to do it. Okay. This person is asking, can I get tutorials and manual on how to use gINT? Of course, if you are using our Virtuoso subscription, you have access to that. Or you are under our perpetual under select, then you can download that from the Learn server as well. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's all for the question. And like I said earlier, if you have any other queries regarding commercial, you can contact me on the email address on the screen. Technical one, you can reach out to run it. So I guess that's all for the session today. So Ranit, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, hopefully it was a nice session, and thank you everyone once again for joining. So we'll see you next time.
Yep.
Have a nice day. Bye bye.
All right, thanks, Ranit. So I will just keep everyone updated whenever we have anything related to gINT coming up next in the in the short term. So so I hope everyone has learned a lot from the session today. And yeah, if you have anything to ask, please reach out to us. Thank you so much.